Today we find ourselves at the Currituck Beach Lighthouse on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So this is out on some of the barrier islands of North Carolina. It's actually not that far, from the Virginia line, so it's kind of far north in North Carolina. The Currituck Beach Lighthouse was, I think, completed in December 1st, 1875. It's one of the newest of the brick lighthouses that were built here on the Outer Banks. It also is kind of unique because it's kind of been left with that unique brick color instead of being painted. You can see it's got the regular brick color. The grounds here, it's got a cute little gift shop in that little building there over. And then the grounds kind of has like a old keeper's house that is not being fully, it hasn't been fully renovated yet. And there she is. You are allowed to climb the Currituck Lighthouse. And the unique thing about this lighthouse is it is not owned by the Park Service, which is one of the unique things. Most lighthouses are either, will be either the National Park System or maybe Coast Guard. This one is Outer Banks Conservation, and it's been worked on since 1980 through private fundings and volunteer work to get it climbable in 1991 to visitors. So that is kind of neat. You do get to allowed to climb this lighthouse, and it was like renovated and refurbished by private fundings, which is very cool, I think. So there is a mission, but it's for a good cause. It's a non-profit running this. So there are 220 steps to the top. So as you can see there, it's going to be a good climb to the top. It is in a spiral staircase, kind of tight at things. It does have landings every so often. So if you are a little claustrophobic, or you have asthma or heart issues, or just high climbs or heights scare you, just keep that in mind. I do like this lighthouse because it does allow you to be able to take your whole family if you want, where some of the national parks restrict like age or height. This one, I think if the children are under a certain age, you do have to have them like in a carrier that's well confined and strapped in. You will have to sign waivers, and children will need an adult with them to climb it. But that does make it unique because you are allowed to take those little ones up, and I think it's fun to be able to take your whole family to see somewhere and not have to leave somebody behind if there's some that are too young. So that is really neat with this lighthouse. As you can see there, the ironwork is beautiful. It's very unique. It looks like a classic lighthouse, but I love lighthouses. I love being able to see the different, each lighthouse is in its own way different. It's to its design, and it's got windows in the different landings, so you can see different angles out. That's facing down at the walkway up, and there it gives you a view of down. So the Currituck Lighthouse does boast some unique features. It is it's a 162 feet tall lighthouse. It has its original Fresnel lens, which is a rare thing for the lighthouse to have its original, and it is still a working lens. It's a first order lighthouse, which means it has the largest of 7 Fresnel lenses inside of it. So that's kind of a neat piece of history. Then you get to view the beach out on that side of the lighthouse on the way up. And we get another one. We're getting close. You can kind of see the ride iron there holding up the top, and that's facing towards the sound side instead of the ocean. There you get a little piece of that lighthouse decoration on the trim on the top. So the Currituck Beach Lighthouse was the last major brick lighthouse built on the Outer Banks. So it is built in between the Body Island farther to the south and Cape Henry farther to the north. So there was a little bit of a blank area there, and so it was commissioned to fill that area in. As you can see, we're getting close to the top, and then we're looking down. And here we've got another angle out there. See if we can get it to focus. And that's going to be another view on the sound side. So admission to climb it was, at the time that I climbed it, it was around $13. And it normally you're allowed to climb, I think it's March through either November or December, but if you're going to be in the area and you want to just check on the dates. It also sometimes closes if the weather is bad or very windy or lightning storms. The tower may close for a while just to let that pass. There's a view of the gift shop. It's a cool little gift shop. Definitely recommend going in there and just checking it out. And I hope someday that they maybe can restore like the lighthouse keeper's house. I think they're still trying to work on that. And there you see the beautiful view out there. That is the sound side. And over here towards the ocean side. So you get a nice angle. And up here on the land, on the barrier island, you do have a few more trees than, say, like on the Body Island lighthouse. So your views for each lighthouse, if you get a chance to climb the different ones, it is very neat to be able to see the different views from each lighthouse and the perspective that you get to see of the island. And this one has some beautiful little paths there. You can see it has a circle walkway and then the walkway right down the middle. And just farther north, you will hit where the pavement ends and beach driving begins. And there's a little bit, you get to see that, a little piece of that Fresnel lens up there. And it is still a working lighthouse, so it still gets to shine every night for us to enjoy. I believe that it flashes on a 20-second interval, which means it's on for 3 seconds, off for 17 seconds. And the light can be seen for 18 nautical miles. There are also some other museums and things in the area that are fun. I think there's like a boat museum that is fun to catch while you're in this location here at the lighthouse. It's a beautiful spot to go. If you go out in some of those parking lots, there's like a wood bridge and things. You can try to get different angles of the lighthouse and get different pictures of it, which is really neat. Here we are headed back down. You can kind of see this is a section like going right from the platform right down into the steps. So a kind of cool fact on the Currituck Beach Lighthouse was it was built from the same plans as the St. Augustine Lighthouse, the Body Island Lighthouse, which is just farther south, and the Morris Island Lighthouse. It also is almost identical to the Sand Island Lighthouse in Alabama, which is only like a story shorter, and I think it has a second order Fresnel lens instead of the first order Fresnel lens. You can see there's kind of the top there before we head back down. And of course, remember to be careful with the steps. They are somewhat steep, but it's definitely a fun climb, very enjoyable, and I like to support the private funding and people like getting together and keeping a beautiful piece of history that we all want to be able to enjoy for years to come and pass down. So I do like that factor of this lighthouse. It does make that a unique thing in this lighthouse. So another fun fact about the Currituck Beach Lighthouse is one of the last employees of the Bureau of Lighthouses who worked here, Bill Tate, the man credited with bringing the Wright brothers to Kitty Hawk, which is kind of a neat piece of history, that he kind of, you know, was a keeper here and then also had that history tied in to farther down with the Wright brothers. So that's kind of cool. And they do have a lot of like the different history. You can see there, it's got the Currituck, the Body Island, the Cape Hatteras, the Ocracoke, and then farther down, once you get off these barrier islands, you've got the other famous ones there in North Carolina. Of course, this is off the Atlantic coast, which was also nicknamed, at least farther down along this coastline, the Graveyard of the Atlantic, because of how many different shipwrecks there were. It has a lot of history, you know, with having that many shipwrecks and the different things. So they have a lot of different information here. You can read on the lighthouse, which is really neat. You can see the chart, which is really fun. So it really is a fun experience, a good place to just go spend part of your day if you're out here on vacation, or if you're just trying to drive through and catch as much as you can along the way down the coast. They've got it fixed really cute and pretty. You can see here, this is on the bottom housing of the lighthouse. They've got like a little couple rooms right in there. And then we'll get another view of the lighthouse. It is also set back in some woods, and you can kind of see the trim there and everything. So it is unique with that natural brick color, because a lot of the other lighthouses, like I said, are painted either black or white with their different designs along the coast to be able to be visible and to be seen. And it was something that they did want. They wanted each lighthouse to be uniquely visible by day, so the ships would know like where they were in station to the different lighthouses. So they wanted them to look different. The other ones that are located right down south, of course, the Cape Hatteras, the Body Island, have their black and white designs. And this one was left with that brick color, which kind of is cool because you get to see each brick there. It's just a little different than the other lighthouses. And we'll get a good angle up there at the amazing height of that lighthouse. And we'll just catch a few more views of the different surrounding. I'll get some different angles. The lighthouse does make some great pictures. And just farther to the north, you can drive out on the beach, and you can a lot of times find wild horses out on the beach, which is really neat. You will need a four-wheel drive for that, or you will need to rent either some of the touring things out to go see those wild horses. It is not on pavement. Pavement ends and it goes into beach driving, which is a whole neat experience of its own. So if you haven't done that, that is very cool. I love to see the wild horses out there. And of course, it's just right up the beach, not far. You can also drive almost all the way to the to the Virginia line. So that is very neat. If you like this video, subscribe, ring the bell, leave a comment, and I'll see you somewhere along the way on the next video.